I hope everybody's doing pretty good. Just checking in to let everybody know a bit about my diet for this mass gain. Actually, I don't want to call it a mass gain anymore. I want to call it a muscle gain. Because really that's the point of what I'm trying to accomplish here. We're trying to accomplish here is we're trying to add more muscle to our body, not just random mass. So I have to go into my history a little bit in order to kind of explain how I got where I am today. Now, when I first started working out, I was trying to get cuts, trying to get lean, trying to get a shape that I had imagined in my head for myself. And so I was always trying to lose weight, really. And they ended up finding this ratio of macros that helped pretty good to help me maintain a lower body fat. And that ratio was 50% protein, 30% carbs, and 20% fats. And I found that worked pretty good. So when I adjusted my diets, I always tried to work within that range. As a matter of fact, when I decided that it was time to try to add some more muscle to my frame and build some more muscle, all I did was take that exact ratio and just eat more. And while I had some success, it really wasn't what I was after. I wasn't really accomplishing what I was going for. So I did some more homework, some more research, and I found out that the recommended ratio of macros for a mass gain actually pretty much has the proteins and the carbs flipped from how I'd been eating. So now it's the carbs that are at 50%, the proteins that are at 35%, and the fats down at 15%. And I think the reason why they had the fats a little bit lower is I'd read some information that indicated that lower fats made it a little easier for the blood flow into the muscles. Now fats aren't bad though, they're not evil. Fats help regulate hormones like testosterone in the body, and if you want to build muscle you need testosterone. So there's a balance that you have to find. Now this 5-on-5 plan by Flex Online, it comes very close to that ratio as well. The fats drop to like 11% on the workout days, but for the most part it falls fairly close to that ratio. And so I was able to match up with it pretty good. Now how I did that is I would use the products and the breakdown of carbs and fats and protein on the products. I also used an app on my phone called Fat Secret. Not that it matters the name of the app, any calorie counting app will do. But something to keep in mind is that quite often you'll get information in grams, and all grams aren't equal. So like a gram of protein is 4 calories, and it turns out that a gram of carbs is also 4 calories, so that's pretty good. But fats, 1 gram of fats is 9 calories. So when I was working out my diet, I would always convert everything into calories so that we were dealing with a even playing field. And it was a lot easier to figure out my ratios that way. So that's just a little tip when you're designing your own program or adjusting your own program. In the case of the 5x5, that's really what I do. I took that program and then I made some adjustments, because I decided not to use any supplementation. As I mentioned in the first video, using ricotta cheese because all the protein in there is whey. And I actually did a pretty good job of matching up with the whey protein recommendations. On their non-workout days, they recommend using 60 grams of whey protein, and I matched that perfectly. On workout days, they recommended 100. I ended up getting 80 grams of whey protein, and I had to get the other 20 grams from other protein sources, but I came reasonably close. So that's kind of how that leveled out, and we'll see whether it hurts my results or whether I get good results nonetheless as we continue on. But I'm feeling pretty positive as I'm a week into this now. It feels like I'm heading the right way, which is good. Now I find that drinking the milk helped me with getting all the food in, because that's been one of my problems in the past with a mass gain, is just trying to eat that quantity of food. And it's because like 90% of it's water, and I already drink over a gallon of water a day, and now I drink a little less water because I'm getting a lot of it from the milk. But just the liquid calories seem to be a little easier for me to ingest. I know anyone that's lactose intolerant probably thinks I'm crazy, but this isn't really the program for you if you're lactose intolerant, to be sure. So that has helped me, and I'm glad for that. As I mentioned before, that 20% of the protein is whey in milk, but the other 80% is casein. And casein is a recommended protein because of its slow absorption rate and its steady rate that it absorbs into the body. And one of the times I really recommend you take casein protein is just before bed, because of its slow, steady rate of absorption. So you're getting a steady rate of protein throughout the night, as well as all the amino acids that go with that. So that's a little tip too. A little milk before bed doesn't hurt. Now the 5 and 5 game plan, it talks about the fact it's designed for a 150-pound ectomesomorph. What is an ectomesomorph? Well, an ectomorph is a skinny guy who has trouble gaining weight. A mesomorph is a naturally athletic guy, the kind of guy that has muscle on him even though he's never worked out a day in his life. Don't we all wish we were that guy? Anyway, I think I'm a bit of a blend between the two myself, more ecto than meso to be sure, but I think I have a bit of that blend in me. And the 150 pounds, they don't really say whether that's lean body mass or total body mass. Lean body mass would be subtracted out the fat mass. So you'd have to have an idea what your body fat percentage is to even do that. And so because of these things, a lot of people aren't 100% sure where they are in that blend, and you're adjusting it if your weight's not 150 pounds, which most people's aren't. You're adjusting because of that. So there could be some room for error. So then how do you adjust as you go along if things aren't working? Well, next week we're going to look at my measurements and we're going to adjust my program based on my results. And if you want to get a little bit ahead, in the description I'm going to leave a link to a muscle and fitness article written by Jim Stepani. It's actually a 3-month workout program for mass gain or muscle gain. Let's stick with muscle gain. It has where you take measurements after every month and you make adjustments based on that. Now they only take the 3 measurements: thigh, waist, and arm. I took all my measurements. I think it'll give me a little more complete picture of how my program is working. And I'm going to, because it's only a 7-week program I'm going to check every 2 weeks. So next week will have been my 2nd week when I come to visit you guys, and you'll be able to see exactly how I'm doing, and we'll adjust accordingly. Also down in the description I'll put the Flex Online 5x5. I put it in my first one, but I wasn't sure if I even knew where it was anymore, but I found it. So I'll put it in there. I'll put in a link to bodybuilding.com, an article on milk, and it mentions a couple names of some old school bodybuilders who swore by milk, and talks about some of the advantages of using milk in your program. It's just a great article to kind of round out your knowledge on that area. And then I will put a link to my first episode where I kind of give an overview of what I'm trying to accomplish here, and it gives you a bit more information. So anyway, until next week, keep training hard, guys, and we'll touch base soon.